Hey everyone, Tankenstein here. In this video, I have your very first gameplay and overview straight from the Spearhead dev server for the Jaguar EBRC. This will be a rank 8 battle rating 11.7 light tank in the French Ground Forces tech tree. And as you can see here, it is all the way down the right side of the tech tree underneath the Mephisto, at least as of current. Bear in mind, literally everything can change up to and even beyond the release of the update, but with that being said, this is a very interesting vehicle. It has two Acheron MP ATGMs, as you can see here. They're kind of top attack ATGMs, which are awesome. They are fire and forget. And you also have a 40mm autocannon. This thing is actually pretty damn decent. It's not amazing. It's not going to be as effective as, let's say, for example, the 2S38, unfortunately. However, it still will be pretty effective, but outside of the APF SDS, which are pretty decent, it has very effective anti-air ordnance, including a head ammo and also time fuse destroying HE. So these are basically, once they get close enough to the enemy, they will blow up. And you also have your standard HE as well. So overall, going to be a very effective vehicle. It's got Gen 3 thermals, it has slat armor, and the slat armor doesn't really even weigh all that much, so you can actually remove it as well. And it looks pretty standard without it, but just because it brings the whole thing together, I will keep the slat armor on. So a pretty effective vehicle overall. This has over 1,000 millimeters of armor pen, so long as it actually hits the enemy, will be a pretty surefire kill. So that being said, let's go ahead, get into a few matches here, see what we can do. Oh, and by the way, it does have IRST, which is really good for, of course, anti-air, and it has up to 20 times zoom for the gunner sight, which is just phenomenal. But that said, let's get into it and see what we could do. So, of course, here we are with the Jaguar. Now, one very important thing to note with this is that it only has around a 20-to-1 horsepower per ton power-to-weight ratio, which isn't fantastic, but wheeled vehicles really make the most of their power-to-weight ratio. So even though it's not incredibly good when it comes to that, you have a lot of other wheeled vehicles that are somewhere like 17 or 18 to 1. So this is actually doing quite well for wheeled vehicles, and those ones tend to actually be a little bit quicker than this even. So this, I think, has like, what, a 90 kilometer per hour top speed, which is pretty good. Nothing amazing, but still pretty good, all things considered. This is actually one of the more heavily armored, if you want to call it, light tanks in the game, being that it has spall liners, it has... Can I hit this guy with my ATGM, I wonder? Nope, I'm probably a touch too close to him, but that's fine. Oh, we have ourselves a semi-hit there. Okay, let's see. Can I blow him apart with these head shells? Nah, I don't think I will. But not a big deal. We're just going to back up. And I have no more ammunition in my ready rack. Let's see how long this takes in order to reload here. So each shell takes, what is that? 1, 2. About 2 seconds, 2.5 seconds to fully reload the, or not to fully reload, but to reload piece by piece on the ready rack. Also, that gives us some good information. The Acheron ATGM cannot be used that close. So I think that's kind of a given. Most ATGMs being that, like, I mean, of the type at least. In this instance, we're probably most familiar with the Spike ATGM. That's pretty well known for not being able to be used within, like, what, half a kilometer, 3/4 of a kilometer. So it seems like this is pretty similar insofar as, like, having a minimum engagement range. So, also, by the way, if I do poorly, and I'm probably going to include it anyways, just so long as you guys have somewhat of an idea of how this thing actually functions, because after all, that's kind of what this is all about, right? Like, I'm not here to try to sell you guys a bill of goods. I want to show you guys a vehicle more or less about how it's supposed to function in-game under somewhat realistic situations, because this is the dev server after all, and unfortunately with the dev server, there are a lot of bots, as you probably saw. But we're gonna kind of inch through here a little bit cautiously, because I don't feel like dying. Also, I still have to reload some of my ammo belt. Okay, hostile team is camp. Okay. We have an enemy there. Oh, we got ourselves a kill with the APF SDS. Not even the Acheron. Ah, shoot. Very nice. Okay, we have a Falcon over here somewhere. That gives me pause. Falcons are such nasty vehicles. I knew it. Oh, wow. So, one thing with this, being that it does have a 40mm autocannon, the 40mm, yeah, it's not much bigger than most similar BR autocannons. In fact, actually, I mean, like the 2S38 was, it have like a 57. So this is smaller than the biggest autocannons that you can expect, but a lot of autocannons are still 30, even up to 35mm. And so this does have better, or at least in theory, it should have better post-pen damage compared to those vehicles, which is nice, you know? I mean, it's not necessarily something that is going to, like, make the difference all the time, but it should have better post-pen damage, which is definitely a plus. And also, I mean, it gives you slightly higher HE filler content for the HE-based shells, like the Ahead shell, like your Proxy Fuse HE, which is also very nice. Let's go ahead and see if we can... Okay, we got the driver. I think we got someone else, like, right near me. You know what? I'm just not even going to keep shooting at that guy. I just don't have the ammunition to keep doing it. So, it seems as though this vehicle will go through ammunition kind of quickly. The 100-plus shells that it comes with, it's not bad, but if you're going to be facing against enemy, like MBTs from the front, which is kind of what I've been doing here, you might not have the best time doing so, but thus far, I mean, to be honest with you, I'm kind of impressed with this thing. Kind of wish that we could look at the Acheron ATGMs. Now, if there's some aspect of this that I can't use or look at... Ooh, that was an actual player. Okay, I was not expecting that. If there is some aspect of this that I am not able to show in an actual match, then I'll try to show you that in the... like test drive. But that said, let's go ahead and either get into another match or respawn. But thus far, kind of impressed by it, you know? It's got pretty much everything that you could want, and even for a light tank, it's pretty well armored. Especially with the small liner. Okay, there's an enemy. Just a regular old Joe here. Wait, is that an enemy tank? No, that's just a shipping container. Okay, firing off the Ahead, or not the Ahead, but rather, okay, we got ourselves the kill. Again, that post-pen damage on these shells is just so nice. I mean, really, really nice. Because I'm getting a lot of just kills right after you hit, like, not even, okay, there we go. Let's see if we can get the, I'm not even gonna, oh, we got the hit! We got the hit with the thing, so that must be like, what, about a half kilometer away, right? Let's see. Oh, yeah, 0.615. Or was it? Something like that. Give or take around a half kilometer. So not bad. That's not bad. The minimum engagement range for these missiles is not too bad. Now, it didn't get the kill, unfortunately, but that's fine. You know, I mean, I got the kill, or my ally got the kill. And in test drives, at least, it seems as though these are getting kills pretty consistently, you know, in a one-shot fashion. So, what can you really expect with it? I mean, top down, they do great, like, piercing damage, and they can do crits like no one's business. They can kill, you know, essential crew, and really just do a great job with disabling a tank. Not necessarily always killing it, but that still does so much work. And I'd much rather have them than not, you know. They are really a nice option. But that said, I mean, thus far I have been quite impressed with this. The mobility has felt more tanky than most similar BR vehicles. Okay, we got ourselves a commander, got the kill there. Got 2 kills! Very nice! Oh, man. Anyways, oh, we just got killed by the Jaguar. I'm gonna see if I can respawn and maybe get a kill, but pretty good. So, unfortunately, I already died in the in the other thing, so we're just gonna go ahead and test out some of its other features. Now, that was the time fuse, but I think it functions more like a proxy fuse with the IRST. So we're going to go fire another shot on this guy, see if we can get a kill, one hit. No, but we did get a hit, and I mean, it looks like it would have taken him down anyway. So pretty impressive thus far. I mean, again, these are 40 millimeter, so you're talking like a pretty decent amount of explosive filler equivalent. So let's go ahead and switch to the head shell. See what that... Oh, one hit. Got the kill. Very nice. We'll try that against the helicopter next. Now, unfortunately, both the head and the proxy fuse, or the time fuse HE shells, they don't really have a ton of range. So you're pretty much going to want to use those relatively close range, which is fine. Let's see if I can launch on this guy. So in theory, that should have enough range. The Akarat, or Acheron. I played too much Diablo 2. I love Diablo 2, by the way. Very nice. A solid hit. Just wipes that guy right out of the sky, as one could expect. Let's see if maybe we can find someone else, because these do have, in theory, a 20-kilometer lock range, which is, of course, not necessarily going to be the actual range of it, but in theory, you should be able to launch pretty decently far with it. Let's go ahead and shoot these down. I'm going to launch on him, see if this can hit him, and it does. Very nice. So these are IR guidance. They are tandem charge as well. And as you guys probably already have figured out, I mean, like the APF SDS, it is what it is. I mean, thankfully, it's a pretty open and shut thing. So you really, like, it's 100 some odd millimeters, like 40 or 60 millimeters of armor pen, which is really nice. But ultimately, it's like, it's pretty obvious, right? Like how those things function, which is why I brought both the HETF as well as the head shells to this rather than the APF SDS, because for whatever reason you cannot bring 3 types of shells with this, at least currently on the dev server. But we did get a one-hit kill on that T90A. Let's see what we could do with, what is this, T64, I believe? And it only got the gunner. That's kind of strange. Let's see if we can hit above him. Oop. See if we can hit above him, maybe on top of that roof. And, nah, it's not going to do anything. Let's fire one more on him and fire one on this guy. So this is 529 meters. Oh, it barely got him. Let's see if 500 some odd meters might be the minimum engagement range on this, because ultimately, again, I want to make sure that we can actually use this thing, you know, I guess you could say properly. I want to see what this thing can actually do. So again, we launch, and we got ourselves the kill. Let's see if we can launch 334 meters. Probably going to be too close. Yep, just a touch too close. But we can go ahead and see where that crater is behind them, and see maybe if it got kind of close anyways. And yeah, I know, I'm getting away from the thing right as I was about to reload, but that's fine. Okay, so I guess this is one of those new craterless munitions. To be quite frank with you, it seemed like it was pretty close behind them. So I might guess that 0.4 kilometers is probably going to be your minimum engagement distance with this thing, which is pretty good. You know, I think it's better than the Spike. I may be wrong. Also, these are the head shells. If you guys didn't know, they do have upwards of 60 millimeters of armor pen at point blank, so they can be used offensively against lighter vehicles. So it is actually an option with this thing if you want to go a little bit crazy, and they do offer somewhat decent post-bend damage. But that being said, that's pretty much it. This is otherwise a pretty standard vehicle. I like it quite a bit, and it seems actually like it's going to be extremely effective once it actually gets released into the standard server. But that said, thanks again for watching, and I will see you all on the other side. Take care, everyone.